Okay, well, today I have an interesting concept, and I feel like this is a concept that people talk about, but they very rarely emphasize, out of, just complete social kind of commentary because it's socially unaccepted to think this way. Is that isn't human society like Western world, modern world, isn't it just bullshit? Isn't it just piss you off how, you have to be involved in all these complex things, yeah, your taxes, your work life, your car insurance, all these things that they just make you do because they just do. It's just how people live. And it's like why I always got flack about people when I said this on Twitter. Huge comment thread, massive post I made this one time about how it was like in hundreds of thousands of views on Twitter, and it's just like, isn't it so bullshit how we have to work our meager lives away? Now, sure, there's always going to be those people who come in with those comments saying, well, what about doctors? And what about fire people? And blah, blah, blah. You realize that those people make up such a tiny, insignificant percentage of the working world. Sure, give those people benefits, do whatever you want. But how many fucking Jans in accounting are there that make all afternoon about themselves posting passive aggressive or writing passive aggressive fucking emails and to control the people in their fucking office, and you know what I mean? So I mean I just get the overwhelming sense as I get older that human society is just such a piss off, just the way they make it, how people are kind of more just so stuck in their ways, and they're so lustful for power and control of other people and being better than one another. It's just such bullshit, isn't it? Isn't it just the most bullshit you've ever fucking seen? I mean, what a load of garbage. We have one little spark of existence, and we have to spend it fucking, worrying about our fucking stupid job reports and stuff. Now, not saying that there are some people who have dream jobs out there, but I would say that a vast majority, 90 to 85% of people don't want to go into their jobs every day. 90 to 85% of people find life very confusing and very annoying, not only just to do with work and money, but also social structures. People who like don't get along with their spouses and fight with their neighbors. And humans are just, I've said this before, is that humans are just incapable of peace. They can't. You just like, people are not nice to one another. They don't just give things away freely. And it's isn't it kind of ironic that we live in a time when there's people with more money than they ever possibly could need, and they don't do anything with it because it's better to just hold on to that. I just think that the fabrics of our society are such a load of shit, and people are such assholes to one another and make things way harder than they have to be. It's it's fucking annoying. And you go online and you see people just being selfish, self-absorbed. They're always right. They always want more. They always think they're better. It's that level of competitive nature of humanity that, I don't know. It's just a fucking tragedy. It's just a tragedy that we could live in absolute paradise and people choose to be annoying. It's like we have all the resources in the modern world that we could ever possibly need, but yet people choose to be greedy and fucking they just want more and more and more. And that is the essence of how bullshit human society is. It's just wherever over time, and maybe it's just evolution, maybe it's just where brains are 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 designed, is that we just are not good at making life easy. So people, oh my god, life's hard. You have to get used to it. No, I believe that we could build a world so much better than this. So much better than this. A world where AI and automation does most, if not all, of the work for us. And the people who do actually have to get up every fucking day at 7 in the morning and hustle their asses off get some kind of extraordinary benefit that others don't. Instead, what we have is a system where nobody gets anything unless they do something. And some people win the lotteries, quote unquote. You know, some OnlyFans star showing her fucking tits gets more money than like a hard-working construction worker who builds homes for a living will ever get in his entire life. It's just a ass backward system, and it's a type of world that is kind of, I don't know, it's like westernized societies, and I can't speak as much for other countries, China, Russia, the Middle East, you know, South Africa, Greenland, you know, it's all kind of the same fabric of just people make things so much harder than they have to be. They worry about everything, you know, everything's a problem, and you're just waiting every day for a goddamn fucking mistake that can just ruin your life. And it's like, how fair is that? That, you know, you're given this one little time of existence, and the only thing, the only thing that matters in this fucking world is this made up imaginary number we call money, currency, fiat, whatever fucking people call it, you know, cryptocurrencies and fucking stocks and bonds and fucking all this. You know, it's like a mental disorder human beings have. It's like it is a fucking mental disorder the way we live, the way we are just obsessed over something that isn't even real. It's not even real. Like, money is not real. It doesn't exist. Like, if you go back, you know, 100,000 years, there just wasn't any money. It's like there's just nothing there. It was just created in our own complex brain, this thing, and it rules our whole lives. You know, in many Western societies, if you don't have money, you don't eat food. They leave you out in the streets to fucking die. It's like, that's weird. Is that not weird? Like, how am I crazy for thinking that about that? As being like, that's not right. You know, like that shouldn't be right. Like, help these people. And I've said many times, homeless people, they don't want help, but at the end of the day, I think that they could live fairly more comfortable lives if someone just, you know, did something for them, put them in a facility somewhere, and just took them away from their habits. And in many ways, I think that many of the problems we have in the world are direct reason, like the direct reason for that is this whole system of currencies and whatnot, and it has driven many people just to become wrong, you know, just wrong people because of the way that, you know, money affects people. How many relationships has it destroyed? How many people's lives, you know, took their own lives because they didn't have enough money? All this bullshit over something that doesn't even like physically exist at all. You know, it's just so weird. It's just, to me, I don't know. I've always thought differently than other people. I've always had this, like, you know, I kind of think on a grand scale, on this like just completely out of the box way of thinking. I just think that human society is just bullshit, you know, like just the way they've designed everything, you know, you own this house and this car is, you know, needs this paperwork and like all the stupid things. Essentially, every human being is viewed as kind of a criminal. in many ways, and you have to prove yourself out of that. And in turn, that kind of makes people fall into this bizarre world of just checks and balances when we could have a utopia where people could walk the streets of downtowns and not have to worry about people robbing them, and drug addicts dying in the streets, and businesses closing and families crying, and it's such bullshit the way human society is. It just, if I was like in charge of the world and I could just control everything, I feel like I could just transform the world into a utopia, because you just can't have people live the way they are. Like, it's just so dumb that people have to struggle so hard for just basic necessities and food and water and electricity, and then like we're entering an age with AI technologies that you could honestly just do away with all this, like just let's just design a world that's great, instead of just being like, well, life's hard, you gotta get up every morning at fucking 4 in the morning, and bust your ass all day, because that's just the way life is. No. If you see a problem with something, you change it. That's, and maybe that's the problem, is maybe people don't see a problem with how the earth, kind of revolves around money, and fame and power, and just that stupid side of life and living. Like nature, and like happiness with your family, and like there's all these aspects of life that are so great, like family and fun and your hobbies and the things you enjoy and the people you like, and the beauty of nature and the beauty of aesthetics and art. There's such a great portion of life, and then there's such a shithole fucking annoying side of life. Money, and like, people who are, trying to always be better than everyone else, and making fun of people, and, like women shaking their asses on camera for money. And it's like, there's this, like, there's these two completely magnetic forces in life. And that's like the cool side that is so amazing, and it's like the shitty side that you just fucking are just like, know, asshole business owners who just obsessed with money, and people who are, like always want to be right, and like the 20-year-old fucking supermodel dating the like 60-year-old fucking uh, uh, millionaire. It's just like, there's like this disgusting rot of greed in the world. And then there's like this greatness. Is like this like beautiful lakes, and like amazing art, and like wonderful digital creations, and like people who are so cool and have done such amazing things in their lives. And it's like there's like there's like those two sides. They're always at odds with each other. The good side of life and the shitty side of life. And I just feel like there's so much people who just choose that shitty side of the world, and they ignore, and they don't have any respect for like that just wonderful, beautiful, natural uh, existence. And it's like, that's the bullshit of human society, is that you can choose both. You can choose to go the shitty route and be a greedy piece of shit who never wants to help anyone, or you can be that great person who's just like created so many great things, and it's like Leonardo DiCaprio kind of dude. But I don't know. And chooses to be attractive and not just let himself go and become a piece of gross old piece of shit. There's I don't know. It's like, it's such a thought. It's such a crazy thought, and I had to get that one out there.